Coming up on show 716, the BMW i4 is revealed, but not until 2021. Can you get one? Stick around, we'll tell you more. Plus, we're talking about Tesla Giga Berlin's groundbreaking ceremony. New software to increase the range of S and X. The 2021 Ford Mustang is nearly sold out, and all-electric coach travel gets closer. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, the edition for Wednesday, 4th of March. My name is Martyn Lee, and I've been through every EV story today, so you don't have to. Thank you, as always, to myev.com. They do help me make this show. myev.com is a place where you can buy and sell and learn about EVs, and you can all the bits around them, like warranties and all those kind of things. You can find out more about EVs in that place, myev.com, if you would like to find out more. Okay, let's get into the big headline story of today, and that indeed is the BMW i4. Technically a concept car, but it's actually the i4, and its arrival to Tesla's Model 3, and it's coming in 2021. A preview of what it will look like has been displayed by BMW. According to Green Car Reports, the Concept i4, as we must always call it, the Concept i4, follows the BMW iVision Dynamics concept of 2 years ago, but with the exterior styling and specifications likely closer to the upcoming i4 production model. That means a car that's close in size to the current BMW 3 Series, with a low roofline reminiscent of the 4 Series Gran Coupe, if you can imagine that kind of shape with a swooping back going down. BMW expects greater interior space than their fossil-gobbling models, with the same footprint, all because of packaging efficiencies of electric drivetrains and powertrains. BMW said the most powerful version of the i4 will come with a 523 horsepower. The battery pack is not going to be too much of a heavyweight, though. It's an 80 kilowatt-hour pack with a range of 270 miles on the EPA test cycle. Stephen Ewing at CNET says that going 0 to 60 will take 4 seconds. The car's top speed, 125 miles an hour. The long, curved screen sits in front of the driver. It's kind of a halfway house between a regular car design and the Model 3 from Tesla/Model Y. You've got a big center screen in the middle of the car, but then that also extends behind the steering wheel for the driver as well. Of course, that will take the infotainment place and vehicle system displays as well. BMW says that placing all the needs of the driver and co-driver in one surface. I call them passengers. BMW call them co-drivers. Users can choose from 3 display settings, or what BMW calls experience modes, because of course car makers can't just call the thing, they have to have the wild name for it. So rather than having a display mode, you've got an experience mode. It actually alters the colours and themes of the screen and the ambient lighting in the car as well. The BMW i4 will ride on the new modular platform, and actually that is a bit of a compromise platform. There's different ways of making EVs. You can either be a pure EV factory or even a pure EV car maker like Tesla, or you can build factories that only make EVs. BMW have gone down the route of having factories and systems that make all of their cars all in one place. The platforms themselves will support either a gas car, fully electric, hybrid, built in Munich on the same line where the standard 3 Series, the standard 4 Series models are made. BMW is sticking to the WLTP number that they've given of 373 miles. So I just told you that EPA was 270 and that the European cycle is 373. There's not 100 miles between them. There might be 10 or 20% on a good or bad day. There is not 100 miles between the two ways of the kind of regulators measuring it. So that's a discrepancy that I can't get my tiny brain around. Meanwhile, TechCrunch mentions the front end with looks that only a mother could love. All right, we've got to address it. We've talked about a new BMW for long enough without talking about the kidney grille. That is more than oversized. It is a massive kidney grille. It just keeps getting comedically bigger and bigger. The front end is obviously a closed-off grille because it's an EV, so you don't need cooling for a big engine. BMW says it's given the grille a purpose beyond just being a reminder of its combustion engine past. Yeah, BMW, I'm not sure any of us want a reminder of your combustion engine past. They said that they've kept the grille on the front to remind us all about their glorious past. Yeah, it's just their design language, that's all it is. It's because they want their cars to look like their cars look, which is the big kidney grille, which is just ridiculous these days. It's just eating the nose, the schnoz is eating the whole car. Anyway, the grille will have a purpose apart from being blanked off. It's going to house sensors, actually, according to BMW. The most noticeable features behind the big old nose is the glass roof and the curved digital display inside. The i4 has its 5th generation technology, which I talk about occasionally, and I should probably explain a little bit more. BMW's 5th gen eDrive tech is a platform with the electric motor, the power electronics, the charging, the high voltage battery, and it's going to be showing up in, the first time we see it, the iX3. They are electrifying the incredibly popular X3 SUV. The iX3 will have it. The iNext, which is an SUV, that's going to have it as well. So when I talk about BMW making the brand new Mini on old technology, it's because the Mini that they just made is not using this technology which they currently have, their 5th gen one. The iX3 is definitely heading for the Chinese market, but you would think the iX3 is headed for USA and Europe. It's such a massive seller in all markets. Well, the 80 kilowatt-hour battery pack in the i4 is flat, according to BMW. Not a pure skateboard design, but it is a flat battery, and not literally. And, well, maybe literally. And it's 550 kilograms. For comparison, the battery pack in the Model 3 is lighter, 480 kilograms versus 550 on the big old Beamer. I'll pop links to those stories in the show notes if you want to read more, and we'll move on. Tesla and Gigafactory Berlin, or just Giga Berlin, as Elon wants us to call it now. The groundbreaking ceremony will be later this month, in March. Elon Musk will be attending Berlin for the groundbreaking ceremony. Armin Harayan of Talk News made a video talking about Jörg Steinbach. Now, he is Brandenburg's economic minister, and he said the groundbreaking ceremony for Giga Berlin will be in March. According to Joanna at Clean Technica, the Minister of Economics, Jörg Steinbach, said, I quote, "We expect a groundbreaking project to happen in the second half of March. I would like Elon Musk to come back to Germany for this. This would be an important signal for the locals," end quote. Elon replied on Twitter, "Definitely." So, not long until groundbreaking. Took a year. I think it took 6 months at Giga Shanghai between announcement of the site and groundbreaking. That was 6 months in China. This will have been 4 months between announcing the site of Giga Berlin and groundbreaking. That is a big deal. And things are moving quickly at Tesla. And it took a year for them to build, actually, there was a bit of a ceremony a year to the day when the first Model 3s were handed over in China at Giga Shanghai. Can they do the same thing in Germany and build a gigafactory in a year or less? Time will tell, but it's looking good at the moment. Staying with Tesla, they've started pushing a new software update, boosting the displayed range of the most recent Model S and Model X that they've been making. They announced the recent Long Range Plus version, writes Electrek today. The new update, if you are looking for it, is called 2020.4.11. And the release notes don't even mention anything new about the range, but there is a Model X that's been pictured online with a range of 354 miles on a full charge, and that's even higher than the EPA estimate. Elon said the software that the car used to have actually thought the car was less efficient than it actually was. You see, Tesla's been making gradual hardware improvements. Not one big magic wand has been waved, but lots and lots of small gains. They've been iterating, and now it's time to update the software because the software thought it was still using all the old bits, and the software just thought the car was worse than it really was. So a new software update to look out for, which will update the range, a displayed range of your new S and new X, if you are a lucky enough girl or boy to have one. I mentioned the Ford Mustang Mach-E yesterday on the podcast, and something I forgot to mention was the sold-out status is approaching. According to reports on the Mach-E forum that I told you yesterday, Ford has more than 40,000 reservations for next year's model, representing 83% of the production capacity of next year, which I hadn't joined the dots. Their production capacity for year one is 50,000. So, in theory, they can sell out. Says Tom at Inside EVs, when the Mustang Mach-E arrives later this year, it will be available in two models. The standard battery is 75.5 kilowatt hours. The big battery is 98.8 kilowatt hours with all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive configurations. And you can get both those configurations on both battery sizes. Ford claims that with the big battery and rear-wheel drive, EPA estimate is over 300 miles on the Ford Mustang Mach-E. That's nearly sold out. Have you got one on order? I would love to hear from you and see how you're feeling about it now, and always love to hear from any listener to this podcast about anything. I had tons of emails today, funnily enough, and I don't get a chance to talk about them. But if you ever want to email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com, you're more than welcome to. And I do read and respond. Obviously, I read all emails and I respond to as many as I possibly can. And thank you very much. Whatever's on your mind, really, about EVs, you can just email me your thoughts. Electrifying coach travel is next. National Express just bought their last ever diesel bus, and they will have a full zero-emission fleet within 15 years. The route from Stansted Airport to central London will be the first to switch to electric coaches in a brand new trial, says the Telegraph newspaper. Well, the chief executive, Dean Finch, said the battery technology provides range for about a 45-mile journey at the moment, but further advances very soon, allowing for longer coach travel distances. And although the electric buses cost $150,000 more than the current $300,000 price tag for a diesel coach, he said that they do create savings. National Express has between 1,600 and 1,700 vehicles on the road at any one time. Each one has a lifespan of 10 to 15 years. And so at the moment, National Express plans to start buying 160 new buses a year to reach the target. And then after 10, 15 years, when all the old diesel ones get to the end of their life, and you can imagine they'll go on to, I don't know, like a little local coach company that will then repaint them in their own colours and do, I don't know, little day trips or something, apart from the long distances that National Express do. Amazing news that they are going electric. Let's talk Canada and tax write-offs coming for off-road cars. Canada is making off-road EVs and automotive equipment eligible for immediate tax write-offs in a bid to encourage Canadian companies to buy them. The Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said on Monday, according to the National Observer, last year's federal budget created a zero-emission business tax write-off for zero-emission vehicles, and businesses can write off 100% of the purchase price up to 55,000 Canadian dollars in the year the car goes into service. This new business program will now extend to off-road vehicles as well, and things like mining equipment, farming equipment. And with the types of vehicle available expanding each year, this program specifies that the 100% tax write-off will be available for vehicles used any time before 2024. Couple more stories, and the first one is all about all-electric chauffeur service. Jaguar Land Rover's electric mobility strategy took a step forward, they say, with the official launch of a new electric chauffeur service across London. Chauffeur firm Haven, and as is so popular these days, they've dropped a vowel or two. Haven is H-A-V-N. Because we love a good consonant, which is backed by Jaguar Land Rover's venture capital and mobility services arm called InMotion, formally kicked off its new service this morning following an 18,000-mile trial, says Business Green. The service uses Jaguar I-Paces to provide customers with zero-emission chauffeur-driven rides that can be booked through an app or an online portal. The trial phase started last September using I-Paces, and the demand from individuals and customers and premium business travel and corporate travel, they said, has been really good. So now they're expanding it even wider. You can get chauffeur driven in a Jaguar I-Pace. That sounds like a lovely thing to do. And finally, California is a world leader in the EV industry, says a report in the LA Times. California is a world leader in the electric vehicle industry, but it needs more government help in order to really flourish, according to a new report from the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation. Writes Russ Mitchell for the LA Times, Southern California is becoming a hub of EV manufacturing in its own right, and it's not just Tesla which gets all the headlines, and rightfully so, many would point out. It includes vehicle manufacturers, battery manufacturers in Los Angeles and California, charging systems manufacturers, suppliers, the sales and service operations. BYD, remember, the Chinese company BYD have a base of building electric buses in Lancaster. The Proterra company, American company Proterra, they do the same in Walnut outside LA. Romeo Power assembles battery packs. XOS manufacturers heavy electric trucks. Fisker is making cars. Canoe is a startup doing subscription EVs. I'll pop a link to Russ's article in the show notes if you want to read the full thing. Thank you for listening today. Shall we talk about question of the week? All right then. Thanks to myev.com. So I'm going to wave a magic wand and I'm going to install an EV car charger for you, personally. Hasn't got to be for everyone, but everyone can use it if you allow them. And I'd like to know, what kind of charger would it be? So fast, slow, all that kind of stuff. At what speed? But where would you want it? Where? Why? What kind of charger? Let me know. What would make your life easier if you're an EV owner or if you're EV curious thinking about buying an EV? What would make your life really easy? Where do you need a charger in your life? You can email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com, or leave a comment in the show notes on YouTube. Yes, that's what it was. My brain ground to a halt then. 241 patrons of this here podcast. Thank you, Patreon supporters. Love ya. Patreon.com, patreon.com/EV News Daily is the place to go. And I will bring you EV news every single day, whether you are a supporter or not. I'll do this because thousands of people around the world, well over 2 million downloads on the podcast now, and that doesn't include all the YouTube views. We put the audio on YouTube. Yes, I will do more videos soon. I promise. 715 previous shows in the archive. If you can leave a little review on Apple Podcasts, it really helps me out. All right, I'm getting all my worms wrong now, so I better go. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. Catch you tomorrow. Remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.